Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel where we don't just talk about books, we break them down, simplify them, and turn them into life-changing tools for your mind, your future, and your success. Today, we're diving deep into a book that could literally reprogram your brain to work better, faster, smarter. This is the summary of the International Bursts Brain Rules written by Dr. John Medina, a world-famous molecular biologist and brain researcher. This book is not about theory or being. It's about how your brain actually works and how you can use that power to learn faster, remember more, stay focused, and become unstoppable. Millions have read this book. Now it's your turn, and you're going to get all 12 powerful rules right here. Every rule is based on real emotions, but we'll explain it in simple English so even beginners can understand and apply it in real life. Let me ask you one thing. Have you ever forgotten what you studied just one day ago? Felt tired and foggy even after a full night's sleep? Tried to focus, but your mind kept wandering? Wanted to be more confident, faster, smarter, but didn't know how? Then this book is for you because your brain is not broken. It's just running on the wrong rules. This book will teach you the right rules, the science-based ones that can completely change how you study, how you think, how you work, and even how you... If you're new, before we begin, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe to this channel because we turn world-famous books into powerful emotional and life-changing lessons, all in simple English. Now, let's begin. Your brain is the most powerful machine in the universe. But here's the problem. No one gave you the instruction manual. You go to school, you work, you try to see it, but nobody teaches you how to use your brain the right way. That's why most people forget things quickly. They lose focus. They struggle to learn. They feel stuck. But in this book, Dr. John Medina gives you 12 brain rules, point 1 to simple, but powerful truths that explain how your brain actually works and how you can use it to live better, think clearer, and achieve more. Each rule is like a secret door. Once you open it, your life starts changing. And today, we're opening the first door. And if you're learning English, this video will help you too. Every rule I explained in simple, clear English, so you can improve your language skills while learning how to use your brain better. It's not just a book summary, it's English practice that can change your life. Brain Rule 1. Exercise boosts brain power. Yes, you heard that right. Exercise isn't just for six-pack abs. It's not just for burning fat. It's for boosting your brain. Your brain works better when your body moves. Our ancestors didn't sit in front of computers all day. They were always moving, hunting, walking, surviving. And the brain evolved to perform at its best when the body is in motion. Dr. Medina explains that exercise increases oxygen to your brain, improves, memory, focus, creativity, and even protects your brain from diseases like Alzheimer's. And here's the amazing part. You don't need a gym or hours of training. Even 20 to 30 minutes of walking a day can start changing your brain. People who exercise regularly have better memory and faster reaction times. Their brain size is bigger, especially in the part responsible for learning and memory. They feel less stressed and less anxious. Students who walk before class perform better in tests. So, if you feel tired, foggy, or unmotivated, the solution isn't more coffee. The solution is movement. Let me tell you about Simeon I met a few years ago. He was 42 years old, overweight, depressed, couldn't focus on anything. He was failing in his job. His memory was getting worse. His doctor said his brain was slowing down. One morning at 4 a.m., he just put on his shoes and started walking. That's it. Every day, 30 minutes. No phone, no excuses, just walking. After 3 weeks, his focus improved. After 2 months, he got promoted at work. After 6 months, he lost 10 kilos. But more importantly, he said, I got my brain back. I feel alive again. Why? Because walking was the fuel his brain was missing. If you want to remember better, if you want to think clearly, if you want to become smarter, more confident, more focused, start moving your body. Not next week, not tomorrow, today. Your brain, Brain rule 2, survival. The brain evolved to. Your brain is not just for school. It wasn't created to do math problems or memorize vocabulary. It was built and trained for one purpose over millions of years. Survival, everything your brain does today. Every fear, every decision, every thought comes from that ancient goal. Stay alive. But here's the truth. This survival programming is still inside you, and it can either push you forward or hold you. Imagine early humans walking in the wild. Danger everywhere. Animals, storms, hunger, unknown paths. To survive, their brains had to be hyper-aware, problem-solving, emotionally alert, able to remember past dangers, able to predict future threats. So, the human brain evolved in the jungle, not in a classroom. That's why your brain responds so strongly to emotion, urgency, faces, movement, fear, novelty, new things. But here's the problem. Today, we're sitting in offices and we're scrolling endlessly, and the brain is bored, stressed, or disconnected from real purpose. Your brain still wants to hunt, solve real problems, feel meaning, and explore. But what do most people do? They memorize things they don't care about, work jobs that feel meaningless, sit 4 hours without movement, consume without creating. And that creates mental burnout, because your brain wasn't built for this. It was built to survive through meaning, exploration, and challenge. There was a young woman named Lena. She was working in a cold grey office in London. 9 hours a day, same routine, no passion. Her mental health started collapsing. One day she remembered her childhood dream to build homes for people in places no one else will go. She quit her job, joined a volunteering mission, and within a year she was designing solar-powered homes in remote deserts in Kenya. She said, "For the first time in years, I feel alive. My brain is awake again. I feel like I'm using it the way it was made to be used." That's the power of aligning with your brain's true purpose, survival through meaning. If you feel lost, tired, or like something is missing, it's not because you're lazy, it's because your brain was built for something deeper. Ask yourself, what challenge excites me? What danger am I avoiding? What problem can I solve that actually matters? Your brain evolved to survive. But today, you must evolve to live. Don't just exist. Engage, explore, solve, risk, building. That's what your brain is begging you to do. Brain rule 3. Wiring. Every brain is wired differently. There's no one like you. Not in your street, not in your school, not in your country, not in the entire universe. Your brain, the way it connects, thinks, feels, and learns, is 100% unique. So why are we all trying to learn the same way? Why are we all being judged by the same? Why are we all forced to follow the same path? Because we've forgotten how different we really are. Think of your brain like but not just any computer. A machine that rewires itself every day based on your memories, emotions, experiences, fears, habits, environment. That means your way of learning is different from mine. Your way of thinking is different from your brother, your teacher, your boss, or your friend. What works for one person might never work for another. Some people learn by reading. Others learn by watching. Others by doing, moving, building, teaching, or even failing. There was a boy named Max. He always failed in class. He couldn't memorize anything. His teacher called him slow, but Max had a secret. He could see machines in his mind. He could look at Affen or a broken light bulb and understand how it worked without ever being taught. Years later, Max became an engineer, not because of school, but because he followed his wiring. Today, he builds silent wind turbines that power homes in rural villages. He said, "I wasn't dumb. I just learned in a different way." Your brain physically rewires every time you learn something new. No two brains store the same memory in the same place. Even identical twins have different brain wiring. People with dyslexia, ADHD, or autism often have different learning wiring. Not broken brains. Stop comparing your brain to someone else's. Stop thinking you're not smart just because you don't learn the way others do. Instead, find what works for you. Test different learning styles. Play to your strengths and don't be afraid to go against the system. Your brain is not broken. It's just beautifully different. And the moment you start working with it, not against it, your life will. Brain rule 4. Attention. We don't pay attention to boring things. Let's be brutally honest. The modern world is full of noise. Every second, something is trying to steal your attention. Ads, messages, social media, screens, notifications. And here's the truth most people ignore. Your brain was not built for multitasking. It was built to survive. And that means it only pays attention to what it finds important. If something feels boring, your brain automatically switches off. And that's not your fault. That's biology. Your brain is like a security guard. It stands at the gate and asks, is this dangerous? Is this emotional? Is this useful? If the answer is yes, the gate opens. If that answer is no, your attention moves on. That's why we forget long lectures. That's why most meetings feel useless. That's why we zone out while reading boring books. Let's say you walk into a room. The wall has a soft cream color wallpaper. Nothing changes. You don't even notice it. But suddenly, there's a flash of lightning outside. Boom. What happens? Your eyes widen. Your body freezes. Your brain says, pay attention. That's how attention works. Your brain notices change, movement, emotion, surprise, urgency. But if everything stays the same, your brain stops caring. The brain can only focus for about 10 minutes at a time before needing a reset. Emotion activates more brain activity than plain facts. Visuals, stories, and humor boost attention more than dry information. People remember beginnings and endings, not the boring middle. So if you want to study better, speak better, or teach better, you must learn how to trigger attention. If you want people to listen, if you want your brain to focus, then you have to make it care. Use stories, use visuals, ask questions, add surprise, Change your tone, take short breaks, make the information emotional and meaningful. Don't just dump facts. Make the brain feel something. Whether you're a student, a speaker, a creator, or just someone trying to focus on your dreams, remember this: attention is. Spend it wisely, protect it fiercely, and never ever waste it on things that don't matter. If something is boring, make it meaningful. Because your brain doesn't want more information. It wants a reason to care. Brain Rule 5, Short-term memory. Repeat to remember. Think of your brain like a whiteboard. When you hear or learn something new, it gets written on that board. But here's the problem. Thebron's whiteboard is tiny, and the writing fades in seconds. If you don't repeat what you learned, it's gone, erased, forgotten. That's short-term memory. It's fast. It's useful, but it doesn't last. Your short-term memory can only hold about 7 pieces of information for less than 30 seconds. Example, someone tells you a phone number. You'll remember it for a few seconds. Then you blink, check your phone, and it's gone. Sound familiar? That's your short. It's limited and it needs help to turn into long-term memory. That help is called repetition. Imagine you have a small bucket with holes in it. You pour water into it, but within seconds it leaks out. Now imagine pouring water again and again and again. Each time the bucket holds just a little more before leaking. Eventually, Thebacat gets strong enough to hold water longer. That's how your memory works. Without repetition, it leaks. With repetition, it strengthens. Most people forget 50% of what they learn within one. After one day, they forget 70%. After 1 week, they forget 90%, unless they review it. That's why repetition is not boring. It's essential, but there's a smarter way to do it. Use spaced repetition. Review at intervals after 1 hour, 1 day, 3 days, 1 week, 1 month. This helps the brain lock the memory in. Tips to improve short-term memory. Chunking. Break large info into small parts. Example 937,426. 937 to 426. Association. Link new info to what you already know. Visualization. Turn words into mental pictures. Teaching. The best way to remember something is to teach it to someone else. Don't blame your brain for forgetting. It's doing exactly what it was built to do. But if you want to remember, you must train it. Think of every piece of knowledge as a seed. If you only water it once, but if you come back to it again and again, it grows roots and one day it becomes part of you. That's how you go from knowing something to becoming it. Brain Rule 6. Long-term memory. Remember to repeat. Short-term memory is fast and temporary, but long-term memory, that's what shapes your identity. That's that's how knowledge sticks. Not just for days, but for years. And Haresky, to store something in your long-term memory, you must visit it again and again and again over time. It's not about how many hours you study in one day. It's about how often you come back to it over many days. Think of long-term memory as a path in the forest. The first time you walk it, the path is grass is high, bushes block the way. You move slowly, but if you walk that same path again the next day, and the day after that, and the day after that, something amazing happens. The path gets clearer, easier, faster. Eventually, it becomes a road. That show neurons in your brain create strong connections. Every time you recall a memory, you strengthen the path. Imagine you're writing a word on wet cement. At first, it's clear but still soft. Touch it too soon and it smudges. Wait too long without repeating it and the rain will wash it away. But if you trace that word over and over and let it dry layer by layer, eventually it becomes permanent. That's what repetition does to your long-term memory. It engraves your learning into your brain. New memoria sari, fragile. They need repeated exposure to become permanent. Sleep, stress, and attention impact memory formation. Memory is not like a file you save. It's like a muscle you train. The act of recalling a memory strengthens it more than simply rereading. This means if you study and review at intervals spaced repetition, you'll remember far more. If you test yourself, you'll retain more. If you apply knowledge in real life, it becomes part of you. Tips to strengthen long-term memory. Review WIFTA. 24 hours, 3 days, 1 week, 1 month. Teach what you learn, even to a wall. Use flashcards and quiz yourself. Link new ideas to old ones. Use storytelling and visual memory. Your brain loves pictures. So many people feel like failures when they forget something. They say, my memory is bad. They say, I'm just not smart. But that's not true. You're not broken. You just haven't learned how to train your memory yet. And now you know. It's not about forcing. It's about repeating, remembering, rewiring. Let time be your ultimate, and your brain will follow. Brain Rule 7. Sleep. Sleep well, think well. We live in a world that glorifies hustle. No sleep, just work. Winners don't sleep. Sleep is for the weak. But the truth is, sleep is not a waste of time. Sleep is your brain's most powerful tool. When you sleep, your body rests, but your brain gets to work. It processes memories, solves problems, cleans out toxins, and prepares you for the next day. Skipping sleep doesn't make you stronger. It makes you slower, weaker, and less smart. Lack of sleep affects focus, creativity, memory, learning speed, decision and mood. Even just one night of poor sleep reduces your brain's performance by almost 40%. That's the same as being legally drunk. You wouldn't go to school drunk. You wouldn't study drunk. But that's what your brain feels like when it's sleep. Imagine your brain is a factory. During the day, workers are running everywhere, taking orders, solving problems, moving fast. But at night, something changes. The lights go dim, machines slow down, and the cleanup crew arrives. They take out the trash, sort the files, organize the mess, repair the machines. If the factory skips this night shift, the mess piles up. Eventually, the system crashes. That's your brain without sleep. During sleep, your brain clears waste and harmful toxins. REM sleep, improvisable solving and creativity. Deep sleep locks in long-term memory. People who sleep well are faster learners, better decision makers, and more emotionally stable. Teens who get enough sleep perform better on exams, and athletes who sleep longer win more often. Even 20 to 30-minute naps can boost brain performances. Stick to a sleep schedule, even on weekends. Avoid caffeine 6 hours before. Turn off screens 1 hour before sleep. Keep your room dark and cool. Meditate or listen to calm music before bed. Don't eat heavy food too late. Sleep is not just for recovery. It's part of your growth. It's part of your success. Never again say, I'll sleep when I'm dead. Because without sleep, you're neutrally alive. You're slower. You're foggier. You're losing your edge. If you have went to be smart, focused, motivated, and truly successful, respect your sleep. Protect your sleep. Schedule your sleep like you schedule our dreams. Because without rest, your dreams will remain dreams. But with sleep, they become plans. And plans become power. Brain rule it. Stressed brains don't learn the same way. You might think stress just makazoo, feel tired or overwhelmed. But what if I told you stress actually changes your brain? It stops you from learning. It blocks memory. It slows thinking. And worst, it makes you believe you're not capable when you actually are. Stress doesn't just hurt your body. It shuts down your brain, especially the parts you need most. Focus, memory, confidence. Your brain has something called the amygdala, the fear center. When you feel stress, pressure, fear, anxiety, danger, the amygdala goes into overdrive. It's like an alarm bell ringing inside your head. When this happens, blood flow is redirected to survival parts of your brain. Learning stops. Memory fades. Logic disappears. You become emotional, distracted, and foggy. This is not your fault. It's your brain protecting you. But it doesn't know the difference between a lion attack and an angry email. Imagine a beautiful library filled with books. Every idea, every memory, every listen is stored there. But now imagine a flood rushing into that library, water everywhere. The lights go off. The shelves start falling. Books, pages are torn. Can you study now? Can you think clearly? That's your brain on stress. It doesn't matter how smart you are. If the stress floods your mind, your learning stops. Chronic stress shrinks the hippocampus, the memory center of the brain. Students under stress perform worse on exams. Not because they didn't study, but because their brains were blocked. Stress releases cortisol, which over time damages memory, creativity, and emotional control. Children growing up in high-stress homes often struggle with learning even in safe classrooms. Types of stress that hurt: learning toxic relationships, fear of failure, constant pressure, unresolved trauma, negative self-talk, comparison, living in unsafe or chaotic environments. If you're trying to grow, succeed, or learn, you must learn to protect your brain from stress like a warrior guards a castle. Here's how. Practice deep breathing and meditation, even for fun. Get out in nature. Walk, move, breathe. Express your emotions through journaling. Talk to someone you trust. Don't carry pain alone. Cut toxic inputs, bad news, negative people, toxic ruling. Replace negative self-talk with kindness. Laugh, yes, seriously. Laughter heals the brain. If you're feeling like you can't focus, like your memory is weak, like you're stuck in fog and nothing is working, pause. You're in it broken. You're stressed. You don't need to study harder. You need to breathe, heal, and protect your mind, because no flower can bloom in a storm, and no brain can learn under attack. Heal the storm, and you'll find your brilliance again. Brain Rule 9. Sensory integration. Stimulate more of the senses. Most people try to learn using only one sense, usually reading text with their eyes. But your brain was not designed to learn through just words. It was designed to learn through multiple senses at the same time. In fact, when you combine more senses, you remember more. You understand faster. You stay focused longer. That's called sensory integration. And it's one of your brain's biggest Your brain has 5 doors: sight, hearing, smell, taste, touch. When you open more than one door, the brain becomes more alert, engaged, and active. It creates more connections, which leads to better memory and understanding. This is why you remember the smell of your grandmother's kitchen, the sound of your favorite song from school, the feeling of holding a book you loved, the taste of food you ate on your birthday, a face you haven't seen in years. Just from one glance. Imagine reading about Egyptian pyramids in a textbook. It's dry. Just facts. Just ink on paper. Now imagine going to a museum instead. You see the ancient stones. You hear thuin sounds of the desert. You touch the sand in a display. You watch a 3D video how pyramids were built. You smell the scents of ancient oils used by which experience will stay in your memory longer. Exactly. That's sensory integration. Students who learn with visuals plus audio retain 65% more after 3 days. Using more senses activates more areas of the brain, leading to stronger learning through touch. Kinesthetic improves understanding in people who struggle with reading. Children with sensory stimulating classrooms perform better than those with plain environments. Whether you're studying, teaching, or just trying to remember something, use these tips. Add visuals, diagrams, drawings, mind maps. Use sound, audiobooks, music. Explain out loud. Touch things, physical objects, flashcards, models. Involve smell or light a scent while studying a topic. Move, walk while memorizing. Use gestures to learn. Even reading your notes out loud instead of silently activates more brain regions. Don't limit your brain. Don't treat it like a single-lane road. It's a superhighway. Open more lanes. Use your eyes, your ears, your hands, your voice. Because of more senses you use, the more alive your brain becomes, and the more unforgettable your learning becomes. Don't study harder, study deeper, study fully. That's how your brain wants to learn. Brain Rule 10. Vision trumps all other senses. Your brain is connected to all 5 senses: sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell. But out of all of them, there's one sense that dominates the rest. Vision. Your brain is a visual machine. It understands images faster, remembers pictures longer, and learns through visuals better than through words or sounds. In fact, over half of your brain's resources are used just for vision-related tasks. Let me show you how strong your visual brain is. Read this list quickly. Apple, category, mountain, clock, sunset. Now try to forget them. Impossible, right? Why? Because you didn't just read those words. Your brain instantly created images in your mind. You saw the apple. You saw the sunset. You didn't even try. Your brain did it on its own. That's how automatic and powerful vision is. Imagine watching a silent movie. No sound, no words, but in just 10 seconds, you know who the hero is, who Thevelane is, what emotion is being shown, what danger is coming next. Why? Because your brain reads the story visually. It reads facial expressions, body language, colors, motion, angles, shadows, and it feels something. That's how deep vision. It connects you to emotion, memory, and action. People remember 10% of what they hear. They remember 65% of what they see even after 3 days. Adding visuals to explanations improves learning by up to 400%. Vision is processed 60,000 times faster than text. Children learn faster when lessons include images, diagrams, and whether you're a student, a teacher, a speaker, or just trying to learn something new, you must use visual power. Use mind maps instead of play notes. Watch videos or animations instead of only reading. Add drawings or diagrams to your lessons. Use color coding in your notes. Create flashcards with pictures. Replace walls of text with images and presentations. Visualize concepts in your head like short movies. Words are powerful. Sounds are helpful. But if you want something to stick in your brain, make it visual. Your brain remembers what it sees far more than what it hears. So if you want to master anything faster, turn it into a picture. Turn it into color. Turn it into a story your brain can see. Because once your brain sees it, it remembers it. And once it remembers it, it changes you. Brain Rule 11. Gender. Male and female brains are We often hear people say everyone's brain is the same. But in reality, science says something different. Male and female brains are not better or worse. They're just different. That means they process information differently, handle emotions differently, react to stress differently, store memories differently, learn in different ways. Understanding this helps us build better communication, stronger relationships, and more respectful learning. And how are they different? Let's break it down clearly. Stress response in men. Stress activates the fight or flight response. In women, stress activates the tend and befriend response. Build relationships and seek support. Emotion processing. Women's brains are wired for emotional detail. Men's brains focus more on general problem solving. Memory. Women tend to remember people, conversations, and emotions better. Men often remember spatial directions, movement, and physical detail better. Learning style. Girls respond better. Toe-face, two-face, learning, storytelling, emotional content. Boys often prefer movement, competition, logic-based challenges. Again, this isn't true for every person, but science shows patterns in how male and female brains are wired differently. Imagine you have two radios. Both can play music, both have antennas, both have batteries, but one picks up bass better. The other picks up treble better. Neither is broken. They're just tuned differently. That's how male and female brains work. Different frequencies, same beauty. Male brains have more connections within each hemisphere. Better for spatial tasks. Female brains have more connections between hemispheres. Better for multitasking and emotion. Girls' brains develop language and emotion centers earlier. Boys' brains develop spatial and motor centers earlier. Under stress, boys tend to act out, while girls tend to withdraw. These are brain-based tendencies, not fixed rules. But understanding them helps teachers, parents, and partners support each other better. When we don't understand brain differences, we create a misunderstanding, blame, conflict, ineffective learning. But when we do understand it, we create patience, respect, support, deep. Whether you're male or female, there's no such thing as the better brain, only your brain. And your brain is exactly how it's supposed to be. Different doesn't mean wrong. Different means unique. And unique means you have a gift no one else has. If you're a taker, respect both styles. If you're a learner, honor your own. If you're a partner, learn how their brain works, not how you want it to work. Because once we stop trying to make everyone the same, we start to build a world where everyone feels seen. Brain Rule 12. Exploration. We are powerful and natural explorers. There's something inside you. It's older than technology, stronger than fear, wiser than doubt. It's the instinct to explore. From the moment you were born, before you could speak, before you could walk, your brain was already reaching out, grabbing, touching, looking, listening, asking, testing. Exploration is not something you learn, it's something you're born with. You are not meant to stay in one place. Not physically, not mentally, not emotionally. You are wired to grow, to learn, to expand, to understand what you don't yet know. This is the final rule, and it might just be the most beautiful one. The brain isn't a passive machine. It doesn't wait for information to arrive. It chases it. It forms questions. It builds maps. It creates new pathways. It tests ideas. It corrects mistakes. When you explore, your brain lights up in ways nothing else can achieve. This is why kids learn so fast, because they don't fear questions. They don't fear. They're not scared to try, fail, get up, and try again. Imagine a tiny seed in the dark soil. It doesn't know what's above. It doesn't have a map, but deep inside, it knows there is light. So it pushes and pushes and climbs and stretches through the dirt. Not because someone told it to, but because it was built to grow. And one day, that seed becomes a tree. Your brain is the same. It wasn't made to stay buried. It was made to reach. Babies are born curious. Even in the womb, they react to sounds and light. The brain is constantly forming hypotheses, guesses about the world. When you explore new environments, your brain creates new neural connections. Exploration activates dopamine, the chemical of motivation and excitement. People who continue to learn and explore into old age stay sharper and happier longer. Your brain craves learning. It doesn't care about age, background, money, or education. It only asks one thing: what's next? Exploration doesn't always mean travel. It can also mean reading a new book, asking difficult questions, trying a new skill, speaking a new language, solving a problem you don't understand, visiting a place outside your comfort zone, meeting someone who thinks differently than you, learning from failure, not running from it. In every one of these actions, your brain grows. This is the final rule. And maybe it's the most human one. Because if you ever feel bored, lost, stuck, it's not because you're lazy. It's because you stopped exploring. And the moment you explore again, even a small step, your brain wakes up. You don't need to know all the answers. You don't need to wait for permission. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to move, to ask, to try, to open your mind. Because deep inside you is that same child who once asked a million questions, who once believed the world was magical, who once believed they could do anything. That child never left you. That explorer never died. That brain, your brain still wants to grow. So let it. Now we've reached the end. 12 rules. 12 ways to change your life. 12 ways to use your brain. The most powerful thing you will ever own. Let's remember something. Your brain is not broken. It is not weak. It is not lazy. It is not too old. It is not too slow. It is not too damaged. It's just been waiting. Waiting for the right rules. Waiting for you to believe in it again. Because you were not born to just go through life. You were born to learn, to heal, to lead, to build, to change, to love, to explore, and to grow. And every single one of those starts with your brain. You have a brain that can rewire itself, heal from trauma, learn anything, speak any language, build new habits, break old patterns, think new thoughts, and shape your entire future. But only if you choose to use it wisely. Most people won't. They'll ignore these rules. They'll stay distracted. They'll stay afraid. They'll say, I'm not smart enough, and the world will lose the genius they could have become. But you're different. You made it to the end. You stayed. You listened. You learned. And that means you've already taken the first step. Now take the next one. Let this be your new belief. I have a powerful brain. I will protect it. I will feed it. I will train it. I will use it to change my life and maybe even the world. Let this book be your map. Let these 12 rules be your compass. Let your mind lead you to your full potential. Because the world doesn't need more people who memorize things. It needs more people who think deeply, act bravely, and dream wildly. That starts with you. And it starts today. Thank you. If this summary moved you, helped you, or inspired you, share it, comment below. Tag someone who needs this, because you never know whose life this could change. And if you're new, here, subscribe now for more powerful, emotional, and life-changing Samaritan Simple English. We don't just teach, we transform.